Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mama's Boys Podcast. We got a couple things. Let me get ready.
Why am I even in your... actually, no, well, I keep this open just in case someone asks a question or nah?
If you want, yeah.
All right, whatever.
And it gives me another viewer. That'll bring us into the top live,
okay.
bro.
Mike, you're going to start the podcast over again because there's too much delay.
What's the delay?
I mean, you just setting the stuff up. I think Ryan just hit it and we're currently 42 seconds in of
That's
static.
fine. No, it's not static.
Bro,
we're talking.
cut it.
We're in it.
Cut it.
I'm not starting over.
No. We're good. So, we got some bookwork.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
We got some bookwork.
What is a bookwork?
What do they call
Paperwork?
it?
What are you
We got some bookkeeping to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard. So, one, we upgraded the sound.
We appreciate your comments, your critiques, your feedback.
And we take it for reals.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here to dominate. We're here to take over. We're in the same spot, the same space that Oprah is in. We're in what? Society and culture?
We're in culture.
Quite cultured individuals.
Do it for the culture.
And so in our first week, I think the highest, it wasn't 31, dude. I took a look. It was 28. We beat motherfucking Snoop Dogg.
Fuck you, Snoop Dogg. Just kidding, bro. Come on the podcast.
On the podcast. So we're here to take over. People seem to really be enjoying these podcasts. If you do enjoy them, leave us a review. Write us something nice. Give us 5 stars on iTunes. It does help us out. Tell your friends. This is another exciting edition here live in Manhattan.
More bookkeeping.
Yeah.
We've heard from also people that on iTunes specifically that if you're having issues and episodes aren't showing up, all you have to do is click unsubscribe and subscribe again, and all the new episodes will pop up. We're about 9 deep right now. We're going to whip out at a minimum, whip it out.
Oh, we're going to whip something out during this live one.
We're going to whip out at least one, if not 2 episodes a week. So be sure to subscribe again. Just to repeat. We need as many ratings and reviews as you can. You can check Stitcher and iTunes for now. mamasboyspodcast.com and hit us with the first topic for Omar.
Yeah, so we're also going to try and go on Spotify. We're going everywhere. Don't worry. Stay tuned.
We're going everywhere except disappearing.
Well, let's hop right into this, Mike, because there's a few things we got to talk about.
Hit me with your best shot.
No?
That
was a good try. I was going to say that this morning, so it was a previous episode. I'm just going to catch y'all up to speed. We were facing some cop issues.
In the previous episode. Don't.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we uploaded a week ago, a few weeks ago. But basically, our last Airbnb was causing Mike some anxiety because cops were banging on the door at 8 a.m. Apparently, the person that rented out to us, who has 5 stars, I might add, on Airbnb, did not tell us that they were not supposed to be renting out their Airbnb. So we dealt with a bunch of bullshit. We had to take some time to find ourselves. Now we're in a lovely hotel.
It just felt sketchy. She once told us that, oh, this isn't really allowed, but if people ask, just say you're a guest of so-and-so. And then when we went there, it just felt weird. It's a small alley to get to the elevator, to get to the place. And then she says, oh, people may knock on the door. Don't worry, it's just regular security. They will go away. So we ignored the door like we were told. And turns out a sheriff left a note. A NYPD left a note. So we're like, all right, well, we don't want to ignore or run for the NYPD. A little security guard, sure. But that's not okay. So now we're in a dope little hotel. Set the podcast up. Shout out to our guy, Rye Guy. Who crushed the setup.
My favorite gluten-enriched bread. Rye Guy. Rye bread. You just went over your head.
Yep.
I was going to say that for this one, what's cool, we're calling this palace, this paradise we're currently staying in, Dude Ranch, because we got 4 dudes, 2 beds. You do the math. Let's hop into the first topic.
What you got?
So I want to start talking shit about different things. We had Joe DeFranco on, and he said how New York, he felt in a lot of ways, was overrated.
No. Don't misquote the man. He said the Christmas tree in New York.
Yeah, in ways. So I said certain features of New York.
But that's
New York
one
is a
thing.
city.
No, he didn't talk shit on the city.
Yeah.
Don't misquote the man. And he also just said that New Year's Day, the extravaganza, is overrated.
Yeah, certain defining features, I'd say, about New York. Okay, well, we'll move on.
It's the Big Apple, bro.
It is the Big Apple.
I love it here.
Is it the Windy City as well or no?
No, that's Chicago.
Okay, well.
Close.
I want to say that I think I talked a little bit about Meatloaf. I don't think a lot of people like Meatloaf, but I just said I don't like it.
So I know that that's like a cartoon junkie, growing up watching, what is it, Doug? You watch Doug? You never watched Doug?
No.
Or Rugrats?
Oh yeah, Rugrats.
All right, so cool. Doug's the same genre. I feel like not liking Meatloaf, is it something from like that kind of era or cartoon?
No one eats Meatloaf these days.
Well, I didn't really get it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think my mom really cooked meatloaf. And then I had meatloaf once, and it wasn't that bad. It's definitely not something I would choose to order.
What is it? It's like fucking bread mixed with meat.
I think
confused.
it's ground. I tend to like.
It's like ground beef.
That's what it tastes
ground
to me.
meat.
It tastes like a burger in a casserole dish.
Yeah, it's like a burger without the bun.
So I'm
and
not saying that it's
like
good.
the cheese and the
I
lettuce.
just don't understand it.
Yeah, so what I was going to say, a quick story I'll actually share about that. Shout out to Boyne River up in Canada. We went on a field trip when I was in grade 5, and they served us food every single day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Cool. The table that had the most amount of food remaining at the end of the meal had to clean that ship up. And so they served everyone meatloaf, and everyone, like, there's all these kids, like, Tommy was like, oh boy, I love meatloaf. And like someone else like said, Ewan.
Tommy's going through puberty.
Yeah, Tommy was going through some shit, let me tell you. Later became a crack addict.
Tommy.
No, Tommy's fine. And then there's Ewan, who said he loved ketchup. Same thing, he's like, oh man, meatloaf, I love when my parents make it. I never grew up eating meatloaf. They served this meatloaf, and
what if it was just gross meatloaf? Have you had good meatloaf yet?
I mean, that was the first and last. I made a commitment to myself. I said I'd rather starve.
So my cousin, I think, made me a meatloaf, dressed it with some mashed potatoes, and then a little bit of ketchup. And it wasn't. That's why I think I'm confused of why it's bad. I think if you go to a cafeteria or if we get it from,
someone just said meatloaf ain't bad. I'm telling you, it's
I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's bad. But I'm not really sure, to be honest. But there is some things that, like, what is it? Brussels sprouts is another thing from like Doug and Rugrats and like those kind of cartoons I grew up with that they say they're so gross, but then like it's not that bad. They smell kind of weird, but yeah. I'll eat a Brussels sprout if it's cooked correctly.
Oh no, Brussels sprouts are cool.
But I'm just saying, like, cartoons like that make these stereotypes to these kids, and they fucked with me.
No,
you know one food that I can't stand.
Go on.
So at my school, kindergarten, similar thing. They would teach us how to cook, and so the teachers would take you through.
You guys are going to burn down like a
no. I mean, they watch you, and,
yeah.
and it's basic shit. It's like cook some brown rice, right? It's basic things, and you do it every maybe twice a week, not every day. And then we all eat it together. And they would make the grossest polenta ever.
Oh yeah.
And they would literally make me cry. Like I would say, like, I don't fucking like this polenta. And they'd make me eat the polenta over and over and over. Good thing we got these fucking pop things, because polenta, we got these fancy pop things for our people on the grams. And it's fucking bullshit polenta over and over and over for years.
Yeah.
Because I went to kindergarten for at least years.
Yeah, I went 8 years kindergarten solid. They said I was the most consistent kindergartner
Dude, I worked my way up.
Was Arnold your teacher?
Schwarzenegger?
Or
Hey?
Hey, who's Hey?
Arnold.
Oh, Hey Arnold. So I want to wrap up the meatloaf story just by saying that the camp counselors try to pressure me because I took one bite. I'm like, I prefer to eat a curry, a lot of other things. They said, hey, Omar, if you don't eat it, you're going to have to, it's like you're going to have to clean up all the tables. I'm like, this stuff, I told the guy straight up, like, this food is terrible and I will clean everything up. I don't care.
And you had to clean it all?
It was their guilt. I didn't give a shit.
But you did.
Guilt. Yeah. I'm not putting that disgusting food in my body. So meatloaf was one that we talked about a little bit before. I also want to say something else. I can fully admit that I've not had a good one. But
meatloaf.
No, quiche.
Oh.
Quiches.
I'm not a big quiche guy either.
Yeah, just because it's like, I love omelets. I love eggs. I love scrambled eggs. I love sunny side up. I love a couple different styles. I just don't get it.
So I'm not a big egg guy to begin with. I'll eat some egg whites because of the protein and easy source, and it's breakfast food. And with a bacon or a sausage or something, I'm down with it. But an actual quiche, I might agree, might go on the complete bullshit list.
Yeah.
You know what another bullshit thing is?
Oh, no.
I've probably gone on this rant for a while too.
That should be the new name of the podcast. That's bullshit.
What's bullshit? That's bullshit. Muffins.
It's
not a cupcake.
Yeah. But it has a similar macronutrient profile.
And it's fucking sugar bread.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I like how I haven't seen you this passionate.
Fucking sugar bread.
You film fitness videos and it's like, whatever your passion. You start talking about how much you hate muffins. And
muffins are dog shit, because like if I want fried sugar bread, you go donut, or even a croissant is fine here and there. But a muffin itself is pure dog shit.
Bro, you get on that multi-grain life on those muffins and they're not bad. Okay.
Of course.
You go to your hipster section. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I haven't had a good tasting muffin.
Speaking from like a utilitarian perspective, looking at like positive, negative, like, so the calories are the same. Thus, if you just want the same like calories and same macros, you might as well get a cupcake.
A little bit of that, and then a little bit of like, they just don't fit in the world. Like, they're not a health food. Like, I guess a little bit because of the calories, but they're not really a treat either. But you think they're a treat, but they don't taste that good. What about Seinfeld with the muffin tops?
I forget that, honestly.
So they want to open, or somebody did open, the muffin top store, which actually does make sense because the root of the muffin tastes like dirt.
Now you're just so here, Mike. I'm seeing how people are hurling insults back at us when we say, "You know what, man? I think crepe sucks." Like, I say that.
Yeah, but crepe
people,
suck.
And people say, like, "I can't believe you say that."
Crepe
some
suck.
of the stuff you're saying about muffins, I'm
it
gonna
hurts
say is
feelings?
inflammatory. Not that it hurts my. Well, I'm gonna tell you a story right now.
Are you a muffin man?
My mom, my mother, my mama. I'm a mama's boy. Okay,
She makes a good
I
muffin?
love my mom. So actually, when she used to drop me off. My brother off, at school, kindergarten, what she would do, because then she would spend the day with me before she went to work, is we'd go downstairs and there was something called a Koala Drink and get me also a blueberry muffin. Spread some butter on that thing. A Koala Drink was just like a soda drink that had a koala on it. It was just in the like convenience store near where we live.
Yeah.
Anyways, a blueberry muffin with some butter, positive memories, nothing but love. But even still, bro, I must say, I love variety muffins. That super healthy muffin, the multigrain muffin that has. But
what's so different from that from a multigrain piece of toast or bread?
Oh, texture. Well, then that's like asking the question: what's the difference between
a crepe and a pancake?
Well,
which there's fucking huge differences.
Right, but they're in the same category. I say a muffin is different than a slice of bread.
I don't know where the muffin fits. I guess.
And you don't like things that don't know where they fit.
No.
Where do you fit, Mike?
I fit right here next to you.
Oh, I was going to say, fun fact, I think, and maybe Ryan could fact check us for this for us. Koalas, I heard they're adorable, but I heard they carry like some sort of, I don't want to say syphilis, but
no, it's syphilis or herpes.
It is syphilis. Yeah,
I've heard that too.
Yeah, Ryan, just check that for us.
I've heard
fact
that too.
Check, please.
So
it's chlamydia.
Same diff.
It's not. He didn't look it up.
So don't go. I think he's right. So don't go fucking koalas. End of the story. Next topic.
Languages I want to talk about. When we talk about differences, can we decide on which languages objectively sound better than others?
I thought we were going to go deep with this.
No,
that our thoughts our life
are
restricted by the language,
the etymology of words. We're not going to do that.
But that's deep, bro.
Yeah.
What if I'm made to be smart, but English is holding me back?
Well, there's ways of testing for that. Like there's multiple ways of testing for intelligence. But I was going to say,
not if you only know one language.
Right, but then mathematics is a universal language. Boom.
So is love.
There you go.
And my EQ.
What's that? Not if you learn math and English.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're just numbers, though. They're concepts. They're absolutes across the board.
What about love?
Math is the same whether you're Chinese or English or Arabic.
Ryan says, "What if the way you learn it in English?"
Right,
and you can't.
That can just be right.
Yeah.
But because the rules within mathematics are universal, you might learn it wrong. But it's like saying music. It's like, oh, you have a bad music teacher. But even if you have a bad music teacher, your ability to recognize pitch, your ability to be on rhythm, are things independent of that. So your
nature
ability
versus nurture.
I think your ability to be logical, think of abstract things, extend well beyond just someone explaining it to you. Like some things become intuitive the more you deal. Like if you look at like how many people are over there, well, that's 2. You don't need someone to tell you that. You can start thinking. We think about numbers naturally.
Oh,
yeah, is what I think. If you want to go on a quick tangent
Ryan,
about that.
Bullshit, bro.
I do love me some math, but I was gonna say languages. The language of love. So you've heard it around, obviously, here in like America, Canada, where certain languages sound
the French
sexier, right? So a romance language is like, but do other backgrounds feel that way? So if you ask someone, let's say from India, and you play the exact same track, someone speaking French or Italian, would they feel the same way, or would they have a different opinion?
I think so, and people do, which is different but similar, where people think, oh, Australian accents are super hot, or English accents are super sexy or something. I have heard from somebody, and I can't quote where or remember where in my life, that they were from a different country. Maybe they spoke Spanish and they liked certain like English accents, like American English, opposed to maybe the South.
Well, that's
because even America is like how people sound in New York compared to Texas, compared to California is so different.
Oh, yeah. But I was also going to say something that's interesting is, I do think part of it is subjective, because I have heard this, that like a UK, like a British accent, a variety of ones, there are, of course, a lot.
Even within England, there's an insane amount.
But it's not like they come over here. I think it's whatever sounds different or unique to someone is one of the largest deciding factors.
To make it sexy.
Because, for instance, in Canada, there's that Quebecois French accent, which is a little bit more harsh.
I don't like it.
So, so instead of saying like bonjour, like comment ça va, it would be like bonjour. Like it sounds, and that's like, obviously I'm making very huge generalized statements, but some people might like one versus the other.
Sure.
I do think it's how someone delivers a language and the method. I think.
So you have sexy English?
No, not at all. I think I sound terrible.
Oh.
But I do think certain languages, the way, the cadence or the rhythm, let's say like Italian is a very jovial language. I think it was, I forget who said that, but like a guy from Kentucky or some parts of the South, it almost sounds like a fiddle when they talk. Like they made that joke about what King of the Hill, like bang, no, nang, go, bang, no, nang.
Like a southern draw.
Yeah, and it has a little bit of a rhythm. Yeah. Or I think I'm not sure if it's Mandarin, but pitch is important in the language. So in English, you could talk up, down, you could be like, hey, how's it going? And you'd be like, right down here. And it's the exact same. But I Chinese think in other languages.
I agree.
So I find that fascinating. But I do think it's interesting because we all have for ourselves languages we find sexy. Mike, well, hold on. Here's the question.
I was
just wait.
Oh,
what is it?
I don't find any languages sexy.
So you like someone just silent?
No, I've
not talking.
I've listened to different accents and languages. Yes, you're much prettier when you're quiet. No, just kidding. I don't think.
It's a corny joke.
It was to you.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I don't think dad joke, #dad joke. I don't think that any of them particularly make me happy or aroused, or I don't think any of them are sexy per se. Yeah, I don't. What you got? I know you're into some shit.
I'm into a lot of shit. I think it depends upon the person who's saying it is the biggest deciding factor. Because so let's say, and different languages do go through different ranges. So we talk about pitch, like a lot of Slavic languages are lower, but we look at Northern European languages. I forget the one in particular I'm thinking of, but it's higher. So someone might speak a lot higher. A Slavic language, let's
Swedish.
say like, so
like that.
So,
bro, you came out with you made fun of the South. Why can't I make fun of the Swedes?
No, I was giving a compliment by saying that
they sound like a banjo.
Well, I said that it's musical because there's a certain rhythm and cadence to what they're saying. But I was going to just say Russian. Right. So Russian, a Slavic language, to a lot of people sounds harsh. But I actually find Russian spoken language. It depends upon the person. Yeah. But on some women, I think it sounds very sexy.
I was going to say
it depends on the person.
I think there's a different too of what's like just generally attractive, like what just sounds nice to our ears, and then what's like sexually attractive or something like that, right? Like a romance language, or people say French is sexy or Spanish is sexy. There's a difference to that, and then what actually just sounds good in your ear. Because going to what just sounds good in my ear, I love like a Jamaican accent.
You do?
I do. Like I watched a movie. The movie American version's called Belly. It's with Nas and maybe even DMX, and then there is a basically a Jamaican version with, don't quote me, but I think it's Damian Marley. It's with one of the Marley sons. Yeah. And the entire thing is such like thick accent that they have subtitles on it.
Right.
But I fucking love that.
We're talking languages. Let's talk about travel because, Mike, here's something people might not know. For myself, I personally don't really like to travel because I have a very comfortable home. I have everything set up. I got my training routine on lock. If I'm traveling, I want to make it worth my while, but I do want to travel to several different places. Do you have places in 2018 where you want to go, or undiscovered countries for you that are just waiting to be explored?
Yeah, I'm the same. I actually don't like traveling. And everyone's like, oh, Mike, you're on the road all the time. But like, I don't like traveling at all. I like to be by myself in my house, kind of similar thing, routine and work. But because of traveling, we're allowed to expand our content, expand our minds, expand our business. And for me, it's a way to step out of my comfort zone and experience new things. That being said.
Name 5 countries you want to visit.
So I haven't been out of the country that much.
Yeah. I've never been, but I do want to go.
We've been to the U.S. Yeah. But yeah, I've been to Mexico, Canada, and Argentina once. So I do want to go to Europe. I'd like to go to Italy. 1, for the history. I like Roman history. And 2, for my family history. I think we're from a small village outside of Rome. It'd be cool just to cruise by, see what the hell's going on. I would like to go back to Argentina. When I went to Argentina, I only went to my hometown, which is very small and rural. I'd like to visit Buenos Aires a little bit, and even more the Brazilian side.
Oh, just say that one more time, bro.
Buenos Aires.
Ooh. Oh, wow. We're speaking about the language of love here, Mike.
Sexy, perro. And I would also...
You know what's funny? Hold on, just quickly. I didn't know this. I just heard it by ear, but then it was confirmed from someone that was trying to learn Spanish. Spanish from Spain in a few different parts.
I know.
It has that lisp. No, but there's a lisp with it, right? It's like all a thouble, like that, like how you're meant to say things. Yeah. I thought it was just a few people.
There's little things. There's like little things too. Don't quote me because I haven't learned in a while. But like some people say like me llamo, and we would say like me llamo.
Right.
And so little things of that nature. I would like to go to Spain because that's where my other side of the family is from. Anywhere in Europe, really, I think has so much history, and it'd be cool to see. And then I really want to go to Australia or kind of the same but not the same. New Zealand.
Oh, cool.
I need to go to the Shire.
The Shire is where you want to go.
You don't want to go to the Shire?
Actually, I have a few countries I want to go to. The Shire is something I would visit. Sure,
Yeah,
Middle Earth. Middle Earth.
I don't think Middle Earth was there.
What do you mean? The Shire. The Shire is in Middle Earth,
but the Shire itself is in New Zealand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you want to visit where it's filmed?
Yeah.
Yeah, so New Zealand. I got you.
The Shire.
Okay.
And New Zealand.
Okay.
And Australia.
So those are your 5 countries.
I really want to go to Japan. I don't know how many countries I've
You're at like 11,
All
but
right,
keep going.
Japan, and that's not it, but those are priority on the list.
Oh, that's not bad, buddy.
Yeah, what you
got? For me?
Yeah.
Probably number 1 would be Atlantis. Just want to go there. 2 would be Lemuria. The ancient.
Is Atlantis just dead middle of the Mediterranean?
No,
it fell off Italy, right?
No, it was supposed to be west. It's all hypothetical. Plato mentioned it, but I think it was west of the rocks of Gibraltar, which would be then past Portugal to the west.
Yeah,
South
Italy.
No, west. Oh my God, west of Portugal, bro. Yeah.
Oh, so in the Pacific.
Yes.
Or Atlantic.
No, Atlantic. Yeah.
Atlantis.
Yeah.
I thought it was in the Mediterranean, like Bay.
No, no. So I think it's probably made up. It may have been like an allegory, like towards some sort of story, like one of his stories with regards to the cave. I would say there's a few different countries. I don't know when they say top 5, it is hard to choose. I would say Egypt for sure to see the pyramids because they're probably of the last 5,000 years or 6,000 years, and the Sphinx as well, the most iconic human achievements from that time period. So Egypt.
8 wonders of the world would be cool. I know that we said 5 countries, but to visit all of them, that'd be pretty sick.
Istanbul, so Turkey would be very cool.
My mom's been, she loved it.
Yeah,
she loved Turkey.
Very cool. It's like kind of the original multicultural place, like both with the Ottomans and then before when it's Constantinople. So that'd be 2 locations. 3rd would be Japan. I definitely would want to go to, God, I only have 2 more. Brazil would be 1. Got to go to Brazil. But then, I want to go to Machu Picchu, but I'll just say Brazil. So that's 4. And then the 5th one, I'd probably have to save and think about. Might be Russia. Might be Moscow and so forth. Yeah. I'd want to check that out. Well, I was thinking of Mongolia straight up just because Genghis Khan was the greatest conqueror of all time. And the Mongols, there's a lot of different civilizations that emerge from northeast Central Asia.
Many things have changed since that time.
Well, you know what? I think there's a lot of things that are cool there. For instance, you have like Attila the Hun, you have the Huns, you have the Mongolians, you have the Turks that then ruled the Ottoman Empire. Just a very interesting place that seemingly is in the middle of nowhere, but produced a lot of warrior culture. So just, well, what's going on over there? Like, what? I want to drink some yak milk. What up?
You're gonna drink yak milk?
I heard. I don't know if that one I heard is disgusting, but I heard.
But you try it.
I mean,
what about blue milk?
Absolutely.
What about blue milk?
Blue milk?
It's from Star Wars, bro.
But wait, what?
Star Wars. They drink blue milk.
Okay, back up. From where?
From the nipple of that animal. It's
in
every.
Oh, you mean the Last Jedi?
No, it's in every episode.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
how
come I'm not noticing?
When Luke first,
you mean A New Hope, and when they pour, it's some sort of drink.
No, it's blue milk. It's blue milk. It's that same blue milk. That's why they did it at the end. That's why they did it in Last Jedi. Anakin also drinks it.
Oh,
blue milk, bro.
Wow, that's actually funny. You know what? Like now that you say it, it makes complete sense.
Yeah,
but
it's just a little egg. What do they call it? The Easter egg.
I want to talk about being big in Japan now. We talked
Someone
about countries.
said that you only want to go to Brazil for the women.
I didn't want to say it, but it's actually for the boys.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of good peaches.
Bring the noise.
Well, bring the noise. Bring the noise. I was going to say being big in Japan, where the concept, I think it's actually kind of cool. You see, we release movies here, we release music over here in America, but what's perceived as being popular or what's well received elsewhere is different. So, I'll give you an example of that.
Who was, I got a quick one. Who was the largest grossing actor in 2000, I think 17 or 16?
2016.
Let's say 16.
Well, it's not an American actor. Let's say it's a Bollywood actor. Is it Khan? Who?
Jackie Chan.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Probably because he had a movie. Because I know some Bollywood stars do up big.
Or released a bunch of movies in China.
Yeah.
Bada bing, where everyone here would say, oh, The Rock. Oh, Kevin Hart. Oh,
yeah.
Christian Bale or whatever the fuck.
But what's interesting is also we release content here, but what's perceived elsewhere. Like in Japan, there was that a term used before where it's like big in Budokan or to play Budokan, where there's a band. I don't know if you know the band Cheap Trick, but they were moderately successful in America at the time. They released a few singles in Japan. They blew up. Yeah. Or here's another random aside. Iron Maiden, huge in South America. Guns N' Roses is huge.
A lot of that stuff. Red Hot Chili Peppers. And obviously they were big. All those bands were big here as well.
Yeah.
But like I said, my family's from super rural place in Argentina, and they were really into Red Hot Chili Peppers. Really into Guns N' Roses.
See?
And fashion and stuff is a little bit step behind. So they're like, wear some of the stuff that we wore maybe 5 years ago. It literally is kind of like that. But the music is like that as well.
You know what's interesting is when you go to a small town and you see how fashion, we talked about fashion before, but how it's either 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years
or
behind.
Or non-existent. A lot of it, if you go small enough, it's pure function.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I went to school, University of Windsor. Shout out to the Lancers. And I saw, because I took the bus, and, you know, it is a town where most people drive, that there were a lot of people, this would be, you know, in the 2000s, but a lot of people were wearing basic clothes from the 80s. Where do you think I got the bandana from? But like a lot of like black leather jackets, like kind of like tighter jeans.
And it was because they were behind, or that area was just in a punk or whatever you think?
No, definitely behind. I'm talking like dudes in their like 40s. Basically, they're wearing the same stuff they wore as a teenager.
Gotcha.
I just find that always interesting.
Was financials part of it, you think? Because I find that plays a large role too. You go to some places now, and this is 100% just me judging, but you go to certain places where finances may be an issue, right? A little bit less money's rolling through the system, and they're wearing stuff from 2001 and one Nike basketball shorts from that time. You know what I mean?
Oh, and
where that's just what they can.
That's definitely a financial consideration. Yeah. Speaking about people being big in other countries, someone just mentioned this, and it is 100% true. Shout out to Hopfather. He said, like David Hasselhoff in Germany.
Yeah, I thought that was a joke, but that's not.
He had an actual musical career in Germany. So my question to you, that's why I want to bring it all the way around. Where are we going to be big, bro? I know worldwide, obviously.
Yeah, it's hard because YouTube and like Instagram, and think I would imagine you're similar to me, where perhaps Canada, here, the UK, some of these English speaking places were almost evenly as popular, probably a little bit more United States than the UK, but I know my Instagram, YouTube, it's pretty even between Canada here and there. And obviously that plays a large role why maybe we're not big in Japan and maybe we're not big in China.
Not yet,
we got different English or different language barriers, although plenty of people in Japan would understand us. But
Mike, a random fact. I think this is cool to everyone listening. Just to talk to about you guys right here. Is that I think it goes America. I want to say then maybe Canada, UK, Australia. I think number 5 is Sweden, for where we're popular with the podcast.
Oh yeah, I haven't looked yet, but there are some places like
which
that.
Is a different country. That's cool.
I think that might be even because of our fitness backgrounds. You know, I think Europe in general is really going through a fitness revolution. I know Australia is. I know China is right now. And so maybe we can touch some souls over there, but they're really going through a fitness revolution, really getting into this world. And although we don't talk a lot about fitness here, we're talking about language. But
fitness, what's that?
Yeah, that's a part of who we are or whatever. So
we are?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I actually think it's pretty neat just to talk quickly about fitness, how fitness has expanded. Where you said that before. There was someone that visited from Singapore, and they were just explaining briefly how there are a few gyms there that are trying, powerlifting, but it's kind of like maybe here in America circa 2007, where there are some
There's literally
gyms,
a handful through the whole nation.
Yeah, or parts of Europe. I have, when we used to do coaching for Ascendant Athletics, people would send in like either form critiques or whatnot, and their gyms would be just, like a commercial gym. It's like, sorry, man, I actually don't have a gym like yours for hundreds of miles. Like I'm in a town of 50,000 people, and there's just no gym like that.
Yeah, I think England, Eddie Hall is probably playing a big role. I think the smaller, obviously, the city, the country, etc., the bigger the role your kind of superstars play, right? Eddie Hall's impact on England and fitness is probably, and this is no knock by any means, but it's bigger than a strongman's impact here in America, because obviously the ratio to people to publicity.
Of course.
I imagine Eddie Hall, I don't know this, maybe someone in our Instagram live.
We're about to be corrected, but
but maybe Eddie Hall has been on the front of a magazine, or maybe not magazine, newspaper there, or on the news there, where strongman here aren't going to get that type of attention. Where there, because he is the world's strongest man this year, that maybe in a smaller community, he got that kind of love. Obviously, he's had documentaries around him, Thor as well. Thor might be more of a celebrity in Iceland than a strongman might be a celebrity here.
And that was something that was cool about meeting Half Thor. I think how we got along, I think he likes the fact that obviously he was on Game of Thrones and the opportunities that brought him, but I think he's more proud of his accomplishments in strongman. Yeah. And so it all depends upon how you regard someone. In Iceland, because he was on Game of Thrones, he probably is regarded as a minor celebrity, plus then his strongman training. But it's like, what is popular in a country? What's well received? You look at somewhere like China and weightlifting, because they just have a system where they get amazing weightlifters.
Yeah.
That's so powerlifting is nothing in China, right?
And basketball is huge. Although they don't have a lot of basketball players, a lot of retired guys are going there and getting treated like freaking kings.
Oh, yeah.
Or even guys that got, quote unquote, like booted out of our league that weren't good enough, ended up over there living superstar situations.
I just have to say, someone said on your Instagram live that it's their favorite podcast, hands down. Shout out to Brightside 93. This is only the beginning.
iTunes, edit out, rating and review.
Ooh.
What else you got? Another topic?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, no, we will close this thing out. I actually just want to talk a little bit. Wow. Are we going to actually talk about a fitness topic right here?
If you really want.
If you really want. Oh, wow. You hear it, guys. I don't know if anyone could hear that. We talked 45 minutes about whatever, like everything. Yeah. I'm like, I want to talk 2 minutes about fitness. Mike's like, no, let's not. No, I'm not. Bro, I'll change something else.
Hit me.
I want to talk about Pride FC then.
Oh.
Yeah.
You UFC guy? Are you UFC guy?
No, man. Yo, wusses are UFC fans. The OG fans are the Pride fans.
I don't think any fans are tough because we're behind a TV.
I'll play you on UFC, the video game on the PS4 right now.
I like Pride stuff too, but I didn't really get into things until maybe 10 years ago, more of the UFC type stuff. But I do have gone back and watched some of the documentaries and also watched some of the fights.
Yeah.
I was talking with our homie Rye Guy over here, is the beauty of Pride beyond them taking loads of steroids and smashing each other in the teeth, is the beauty that it actually was just a random mixed martial arts tournament, much like the early years, even before Bill Kazmaier of Strongman, where you would literally take a bodybuilder, a football player, a powerlifter, and a big old lumberjack and say, hey, who could lift this stone the amount of time?
Who could suck the most dick?
Wrong contest. That was after. So then, or in Pride's situation, you'd get either just a brawler, you just get a strong dude, you get a Muay Thai guy.
Please don't touch my microphone.
No, just touch your big black thing. A Muay Thai fighter or a jiu-jitsu black belt, and you just throw them in a ring and actually see who was best. We got some Crow Cop fans in the chat.
Well, Crow Cop was good until he got submitted by Nogueira. Anybody remember that? Beat by Fedor. He was very good. His fight against Bob Sapp, where he broke his orbital eye socket, was awesome.
Where does the golden era end for you then? Are you still on board with Keith Jardines and Chuck Liddell's?
Yeah, well, no, George St. Pierre, the guy.
So that's still gold. I mean, that's not Pride. That's you're still down.
No, that's UFC.
You're down.
There are definitely some fights that were legendary. Like we have Matt Hughes against Frank Trigg. Was a legendary brawl. I think that was like 2005.
Matt Hughes is a legend.
But I was going to say that Pride, the best Pride was probably anywhere from 2000 to 2005. But something that I think overall UFC we talk about that needs more of is that spectacle from Pride. I was going to say, when people entered the ring, it was a big deal. They had not only their song, but it would be theatrical. They would be characters.
More WWE-ish?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about that off camera, how people in wrestling, they have personalities, they have a persona, they have a certain look. And we see all too often in the UFC, I think because a lot of, people lose, and I get it. So the championship goes back and forth. Someone has the championship belt for one title. But to create characters that become consistent, I think Dana White in the earlier days, so Chuck Liddell, the Iceman is a classic example of that. Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, the Natural, when you had all those guys fighting at light heavyweight, you had characters. And
I think it's hard. I think it's hard. I don't think it's the fighter's fault. I think that UFC, we might have talked about this even in other podcasts, it has progressed to a new level, almost on the same scale as powerlifting, where first you got an expert in one category, and then you got experts in multiple categories, and then not only experts in multiple categories, but you also get the talent and athleticism go along with it, right? Bones Jones, for example, had multiple black belts, and he literally, his entire family's in the NFL. So he has the genetics to the next level, where Chuck Liddell, although a badass and every sense of the word, was an okay wrestler at a Division III school. Oh, and you know what I mean, though?
So I have a proposal after.
Well, I was going to continue into your why it's not so easy to always have a gimmick, because now you're talking about the elite of the elite genetically and skill-wise in a sport. And the truth is, humans just can't be good at everything. Often the time when someone's the most athletic or most intelligent or most skilled in something, they're not always the most charismatic, or they don't always have the mic skills or what something, right? You and I are talentless. Besides that, we could talk a little bit. You know what I mean? So
we got a little bit of the gift of gab going on.
Yeah, that's what we have. But so I think that's why a reason some of these people can't be the characters or whatever, and they come along very rarely, like a McGregor or something, who can add a little bit of flash
flavor.
on top of it. Where I agree, if there's multiple guys in multiple weight classes that have that flash and flair, the sport would grow beyond itself.
I think there is an easy proposal, and maybe the UFC will follow through with that. That Pride actually basically did, and that is there were 2 tiers of fighters. They were basically focused on either creating the spectacle or then creating championship fights between legendary fighters. So I'll give you an example. Fedor had no shtick. He was the best heavyweight fighter, no shtick, nothing about him, right? Then you had a lot of characters, kind of like Sakuraba is one of them, a Japanese fighter, where he'd come out with a mask, a different outfit every time. He was never going to be champion, but he always put on entertaining fights, and Pride would make sure they matched him up accordingly so he'd win a good portion of them, let's say like 70 or 80%, and he became a star. He wasn't going to take any championship belt away from someone, but his ability to draw in the crowd was second to none. And they did a really good job of that with their fighters. And there's a guy, I'm blanking, it might be the incorrect one. I forget also what they called him, but it may have been James Thompson. He was a guy, he basically had like kind of a colossus, I think was his nickname, but he sucked as a fighter. Like he got his ass kicked multiple times. But he had a shtick that once again drew in the crowd. Yeah. So he was a reliable figure. So I think, you don't need someone like John Jones being, super charismatic or having a shtick. But for a card, let's say you have a UFC fight night, you're showing a bunch of fights, have a diversity of characters so there's enough reason to watch, enough drama.
Yeah, I think the devil's advocate is that like I said, the talent level and pool is too big now. They can't give away the large contracts, right? They only sign whatever it is, 15, 20, maybe 30 people per weight class to the UFC. Yeah. So they can't give those spots away to a less deserving person now because there's so much talent. People are starting at age 15 now to train to go to the UFC, where back then, oh, I'm a wrestler, I'm pretty good at it, I actually just like punching people's faces in, I'm going to try this route in Pride or UFC.
No, I would take Fedor over any... Prime Fedor over anyone now.
That's not the conversation. My point is that the pool is larger.
Yeah. No, I
and so they don't have money or resources to sign characters.
I think the pool is decently bigger, but not exponentially.
I think it's exponentially bigger.
You think so?
Just because of the fact I just said. There's people that are 15 years old that are training to go to the UFC right now. There's a kid, Feely, there's this kid, Bulldog, that are on Team Alpha Male that have been with Alpha Male since like high school.
Oh, Codino loves
Uriah's team.
Oh, Uriah. Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah. Uriah's team that have been there, literally training with Uriah since teenage years, that are now in the UFC because that's their dream goal. Yeah. Where before Chuck Liddell went to St. Louis Obispo University to wrestle and whatever, and then ended up in the UFC.
For sure.
So the pool and the popularity of it, the money behind it is exponentially bigger. So there goes the popularity of it. There's a fight every single weekend now.
Yeah.
Where UFC, every 6 weeks used to be? Every 4 weeks?
Yeah, I'm also taking a look at pay-per-view buys because you could look at those stats, and it does seem that when you have someone that has that flash or that personality, so like Brock Lesnar's a former, obviously, wrestler, he brings a lot of people, Conor McGregor, but you look at just the numbers. Even so, I could throw back to George St. Pierre. You don't need to be super charismatic, but he had his thing where he was always he always wore a clean suit to his post-fight press conference. He was super respectful. He didn't need to do shit.
No, he's a legend.
Yeah, and he became a legend that way. So just like a little bit of personality. I think like everything, we could just, and I'll close it out with this. Weightlifting is a good example where, Klokov, because of the way he looks, how jacked he is, and a couple different things, he talks better in front of the camera. He's never won an Olympic gold medal, but he's more popular
than a world, though.
Back in like 2005. But like if you look at what people would regard, if you list the top 5, 105 kg weightlifters of all time, he wouldn't be in it. Sure. So he's very good. He's world class. But the person that beat him, Andre Arama, now, like no one cares about him.
Yeah, so but that's where the effort of time too, where Klokov purposely went out of his way to build an Instagram and to build a YouTube and to go to the CrossFit Games. Like our guy Tarakti right now, who's doing similar things with the YouTube, with the Instagram. So I do think there's a time and place for fighters to do that, but they're also doing it after they're retired.
Yeah,
which is a whole nother conversation as well. For a UFC guy who, I think, my opinion is that the level of expertise and level of competition is so much higher now. They don't have time to be Instagram guys and still train for their sport. I mean, they're doing 3-a-days. Yeah. With conditioning, with weights, and with whatever martial art they're doing that day. They don't have time to be the Instagram guy. And probably Klokov didn't either when he was at a world-class level. because he was doing 2-a-days until now. He can do Instagram, he can do YouTube, he can do CrossFit Games.
My favorite all-time Ultimate Fighter TV show episode, I think the guy's name was Gabe, when he was supposed to cut weight to make weight for this fight, and they put him in the sauna, and he was still like 8 pounds overweight, and he's like, I gotta get out, I can't stand it, I can't stand it. Then they put him back in. He lasts 5 minutes, has to get out, can't stand it. But he was like apparently super dedicated, but just like really comedic. And then eventually they...
Dude, cutting weight on an extreme level sucks so bad.
So what they did after he complained so many times, he's like, dude, you're cut out. Like you know what, you're cut from the team. And he just said like, that's what I figured. And then he walked like quietly and like, it was super dramatic. It was just funny.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like that went, a little bit of that stuff goes a long way. I hear what you're saying. Mike, let's close this out.
Hit him.
What have we been talking about here?
I have no idea.
Quiche.
Language of love.
Quiche, language of love.
The UFC is still cool, but not as cool as when they were loaded up on steroids and punched each other's teeth out.
Fuck Meatloaf.
Meatloaf's somewhere in the middle for me.
Somewhere in the middle.
This podcast is the best, worst podcast you've ever reached in your life.
Yeah, make sure, guys, for those listening right now, to give us a review. It helps us out on iTunes. Tell your friends about it. We're here to take over. We're going to be interviewing Oprah in a year, letting her know how does it feel to be number 2 in
Oprah.
society
Hello,
and
down there.
culture.
Ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Mama's Boys Podcast on Instagram, iTunes, Stitcher. Releasing a
Grindr.
new podcast every Tuesday
And
hopefully
Friday.
some
Yeah,
Fridays.
yeah.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.